Chapter 6. Desperate Flight and Heartbreak. The cramped maintenance shaft echoed with ragged breaths and the rhythmic thrum of the living web. Eleanor, Chen, and a heavily wounded Sato pushed forward, their faces grim with exertion and despair. The horrifying screech of the creature still echoed in their ears, a constant reminder of their fallen comrade. Suddenly, a sickening thud echoed from behind. Sato stumbled, his face contorted in pain. "I can't go any further," he rasped, his voice weak. Eleanor whirled around, her heart pounding. "No, Sato, you have to! We're almost there!" But as she spoke, a massive segmented leg erupted from the shadows behind them. The creature, enraged by their escape attempt, had caught up. Chen reacted with lightning speed, shoving a makeshift plasma cutter into Eleanor's hand. "Go! Save the colonists! I'll hold it off!" Tears welled up in Eleanor's eyes, but she knew they didn't have time. With a choked sob, she grabbed Sato's arm and dragged him forward, the rhythmic thrumming of the web growing louder. They finally reached a dead end, a steel bulkhead welded shut. Relief battled with horror as Eleanor activated her helmet scanner. Beyond the bulkhead pulsed a grotesque, pulsating mass, a web sack teeming with lifeless, desiccated bodies. The colonists. A strangled cry escaped her lips, and Sato slumped against the wall, his eyes wide with despair. In that moment, the weight of their devastating failure threatened to crush them. Chapter 7. Plan and Resolve. Grief morphed into a fierce determination in Eleanor's eyes. They couldn't save the ones who were lost, but maybe, just maybe, there was still a chance for some. Scanning the bulkhead, she noticed faint readings indicating occupied cryopods on the other side. "Sato," she said, her voice firm despite the tremor running through her. "We can still save some of them. The web isn't connected to the entire ship. We need to sever it." Sato looked at her, a flicker of hope igniting in his eyes. "How?" "Explosives," Eleanor declared, her resolve hardening. "We can use the jury-rigged charges to create a localized explosion, collapsing a section of the corridor and isolating the remaining cryopods." Chen's voice, laced with skepticism, echoed through the communicator. "Captain, that's crazy. We barely escaped with our lives as is. And what about the escape pod?" Eleanor knew the risks, but the thought of abandoning any remaining hope fueled her defiance. "We have to try, Chen. This is our only chance." A tense silence followed, broken only by the rasp of Sato's labored breathing. Finally, Chen's voice came back, a hint of resignation in it. "All right, Captain. You lead the way." Chapter 8. Escape and Aftermath. Sweat slicked Eleanor's forehead as she attached the explosives to the bulkhead. Sato, despite his injuries, helped her set the timer. Their movements were hurried, fueled by nervous energy and a desperate hope. With a final glance at the pulsating horror on the other side, Eleanor triggered the device. A deafening roar filled the corridor as the bulkhead crumpled inwards, collapsing upon itself and a portion of the surrounding area. They waited, hearts pounding for the web's reaction. The rhythmic thrumming faltered, a low tremor running through the ship. Then, a chilling silence descended. Seizing the opportunity, they raced towards the emergency cryo bay, a desperate hope fueling their steps. The corridor was a mangled mess of debris, but they navigated it with a practiced efficiency born of desperation. Inside the cryo bay, a dozen cryogenic chambers hummed softly. Relief washed over Eleanor as she confirmed multiple life signs, but before they could celebrate, a horrifying shriek echoed through the ship. The creature had recovered from the explosion and was on the move. With frantic haste, they detached several cryopods and dragged them back towards the maintenance shaft. It was a perilous journey, a constant dance with danger as shadows flickered and menacing hisses filled the air. Finally, they reached the escape pod bay. Working feverishly, they shoved the cryopods into the cramped escape pod, barely leaving enough space for themselves. As the last pod clattered into place, the creature's guttural roar echoed nearby. With a single, desperate command from Eleanor, the escape pod hatch slammed shut. The countdown timer started, a beacon of hope in the midst of their desperation. Chapter 9. A Web of Horrors. The escape pod lurched with a stomach-churning jolt as it detached from the Aurora VII. Inside, Eleanor and her battered crew battled a suffocating sense of dread. As the viewport cleared, the true scale of their situation hit them like a physical blow. The pod wasn't adrift in empty space. It was suspended within a vast bioluminescent maze, a monstrous web pulsating with an eerie rhythm. In the flickering light, colossal, monstrous forms shifted in the distance, their outlines obscured by the omnipresent webbing. "We're trapped," Chen breathed, her voice devoid of her usual stoic composure. Eleanor peered out at a colossal skeletal structure nestled within the web, a ship, its once proud metallic form dulled and encrusted. "Look, a ship," she whispered, barely recognizing her own voice. "But it's not human." Sato, his medical condition deteriorating rapidly, struggled to sit up. His eyes, usually brimming with scientific curiosity, were clouded with pain. "We need to find answers," he rasped. "Somewhere on that ship." With shaking hands, he pulled a salvaged data device from his pocket, a remnant of a long-dead alien civilization. The device flickered to life, a jumble of alien symbols appearing on the screen. With trembling fingers, Sato deciphered fragments of data. A chill ran down Eleanor's spine as the translation emerged. "It seems to be a warning," he coughed, his voice laced with a grim realization. "A desperate plea to avoid the Weaver." A wave of nausea swept over Eleanor as the implications sank in. The creature they'd faced was merely a single entity within a monstrous living system. They had escaped the spider, only to fall deeper into its web. Chapter 10. A Fading Light. Hope flickered like a dying flame within the cramped confines of the escape pod. Life support systems sputtered, the colonists remained unresponsive, and their fuel reserves were critically low. Despair threatened to consume them again, a creeping shadow in the corner of their minds. "There has to be a way out," Eleanor insisted, her voice a desperate plea against the rising darkness. As if in answer, her gaze fell upon a hidden compartment within the salvaged alien ship's console. It housed a single, unmarked device, an emergency beacon, pulsing with a faint alien energy. Chen's eyes narrowed. "There's no guarantee it'll work, Captain. Even if it does, there's no telling who might answer, or what they might want." Eleanor looked at her crew, at the unconscious colonists, and her heart hardened with a grim determination. "It's our only hope. We have to try." They powered up the beacon, the alien symbols flashing with an unknown power. A surge of energy rippled through the pod, momentarily overloading the systems and plunging them into darkness. Silence wrapped itself around them, a suffocating weight. Outside, in the endless expanse, a shadow began to grow, blotting out the weak bioluminescence of the web. Then a guttural screech, louder, more ferocious than anything they'd heard before, echoed through the emptiness, cutting short their desperate hope. An oppressive dread settled within the pod, mirroring the inky blackness engulfing them. They were not alone.
Hey there, thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video interesting and enjoyable. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps out a lot. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, and hit that bell icon so you won't miss any of our future videos. If you have any thoughts or questions, feel free to drop a comment below. I love hearing from you all. And if you're looking for more content to enjoy, check out our other videos. You might find something else you love. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.